Welcome to It's Called Reality.
The discourse for people who give a shit.
I'm Willow.
I'm Brianna. And today we're talking about the latest season of one of the longest airing game shows in reality TV history, Season 50 of Survivor. There will be spoilers. This is definitely not a spoiler-free zone. You've been warned.
We're doing a Survivor episode. So exciting. We're both huge Survivor fans, and we thought that because Season 50 was such a commemorative episode, that we should dedicate an episode just to this season, and it also just finished. So it felt timely.
Yeah, for us, it finished 3 days ago. We are currently filming 3 days after the Season 50 finale. So the thoughts are fresh, and the drama, I don't think, has totally hit and peaked yet. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, no, the contestants are still doing their media rounds and everything, so there's tea coming out. Okay, so I guess let's just set the scene a little bit for Survivor as a show, in case you're not familiar, which, I mean, I'm not sure why you're listening to the show if you don't know how Survivor works. Like, why are you here? Maybe you're my mom, and you just get here because you love me. So Survivor has been on air since 2000, which is crazy. That's 26 years.
Not even an and.
Yeah. 50 seasons. So I guess they do 2-ish a year usually. It's one of the most enduring formats in TV history. And quick kind of premise recap. It's pretty simple. At least it started as this, and it still is this, but the game has changed over time. A group of people are stranded in a remote location. They're divided into tribes, and they compete in physical and mental challenges for rewards and immunity. And then they vote each other out at a tribal council until one person remains and is crowned the sole survivor by a jury of the people that they helped eliminate. So Season 50, obviously, it's a really big commemorative season, and it was kind of billed as a celebration. So this season was a season where they had all returning players come back.
The All-Stars.
Yeah, which are my favorite seasons usually.
Mine too.
So
the pace is just quicker, and you already know people. Like, you don't have the buy-in. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And they hadn't done one since 40, which was like an all-winner season. I kind of wish they had saved that for Season 50, but anyways.
Yeah, I wonder why they chose to do that in 40. I don't know.
Rushed. I don't know. Okay, tell us what else. What else was interesting about Season 50?
Okay, so there was 24 returning players, which I think is a lot more than they usually start with. And
I think the max is like 20, but usually it's 18.
Okay, usually it's 18. Okay, yeah. So it was way too many, and they had the same amount of episodes. So, I mean, we'll discuss it later, but that kind of meant there were some episodes where they just got rid of a bunch of people at once, and we can talk about whether we liked the mechanisms for that or not.
Not good.
And then this season was also stood out because it had a record $2 million prize pot. Normally it's just $1 million, but that was kind of determined mid-game. We'll get into that as well. And the theme of the season, so every season has a different theme, or they used to, at least pre-40. Yeah, the newer seasons haven't really had a theme. But this one was in the hands of the fans. How did you feel about that theme?
Catchy.
When it first came out.
I mean, in premise and principle, sounds really good. So part of what they did for Hands of the Fans was they allowed the fans to vote on things ahead of time. You voted on things, right? I voted on things. And some of the things you could vote on was like, what color do you want the buffs to be? What do you want, a little bit of surprises or a lot of surprises? Do you want them to be able to eat rice or no rice? Should they make fire at Final Four? Should they not? So it was like they had already told us the options, and it's just the highest vote wins. It wasn't freely tell us what you want. It was very much just, here are the options. And quite honestly, they could have done whatever they wanted and nobody would have known.
Yeah. It wasn't like kind of an open vote. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it wasn't like, I voted and now I can see where all the votes have landed. It was like, they're still going to do whatever they want to do. So in principle, I think that's cool. I think to be able to allow us as the fan base in kind of breaks down that parasocial part of watching as a viewer. But in practice, I don't think they didn't give us anything that we asked for except for the bare basics. It was like, okay, they gave them rice, which nice. I think they should be able to eat more than literally nothing. We got the buff colors. Okay. They did fire. Okay. And then it was like, oh, you could vote. It's just dumb stuff where I'm like, this doesn't feel like it's in control of us at all. And then when they would do stupid shit, they'd be like, it was the fans' fault. I'm like, how? We
Yeah.
didn't ask for specifically what you're doing.
Yeah, and it seemed like really the fan influence was like all of these celebrity cameos that they had throughout the season.
2 in-person cameos
Yeah.
and then 2 on-paper cameos.
Yeah.
And the 2 on paper, like the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, she came out and said, yeah, I didn't even do that. They literally were just like, do you want to do it? And she was kind of like, okay, I guess. And then everyone's Billie. And she was just like, yeah, no, I like didn't really do it. And I was like,
So
nobody
weird.
even paid her to stop talking.
So so she's not even like a Survivor fan? Like, why did they choose her?
She's definitely not a super fan. She's a fan, but I feel like what she said was that she was just like, oh yeah, I wrote a letter. And I'm like, okay, so you obviously didn't write the letter. Did you know how you were being involved at all? Like, I don't know. I'm just like, you at least should tell the celebrities what they're doing.
Well, yeah, I was like that's why I thought it was dumb, because I was like, okay, they just wrote her name on a piece of paper.
Yeah. And it was a good idea. Like, I think I liked the idea of that Boomerang Idol where it was like, okay, I send it to you and you can either use it, or if you go home and you don't use it, it comes back to me. I'm like, that's interesting, I think. But then it didn't boomerang at all. So
I know. Okay, let's get into like all the twists and stuff in a bit. But first, let's like go back to the beginning. They just announced season 50. When they announced the cast, who were you most excited to see? And like, who were you rooting for?
Okay. I don't know why. My picks are always guys. So I was super excited for Kyle. I love Kyle. Seeing him win his season made me so happy. I just loved him. I remember like in his first season, in the first episode of the first season, basically he has to like compete to win the consolation prize of like getting your machete and your flint and all that stuff. And whatever I think he had to like fill a jug of water, and then he broke his jug of water and he's out. Like there's no way he can finish at all. And so he just immediately, without hesitation, started helping. I think he was with Andy. He just immediately started like filling up Andy's jug. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's just like a nice guy. I was just like, this guy's a good person. And then like throughout his whole season, I don't know. Kyle, big fan of Kyle. So, and seeing him get medevaced halfway through the first episode, my stomach hurt watching that. I was like, I actually can't believe this is happening. This is heartbreaking. And then
It's always so sad when they leave, but when they have to get like medically evacuated. But that was so sad for Kyle.
Oh my God, I was like, that was heartbreaking. So I was so excited to see Kyle. I hope he comes back, and I think he would.
At least he won his first season.
Yeah, loved Kyle. I'm super excited to see Genevieve as well. She was a good Canadian girl. Was going to be interesting to watch. And then I was really excited for Charlie, because I also loved Charlie on his season, and Christian, because like Christian, just iconic. And then like later there were other contestants who I was like rooting for, but when it was like first announced, those were the 4 where I was like, oh my God, I'm really excited to see them.
Interesting.
Yeah, what about you? I feel like we have different lists.
Yeah, we do. I feel like we like different people generally in Survivor, which is really, that is interesting to me. Like,
I'm so curious to hear how you pick.
I mean, Christian is for everybody. I also love Christian, and I loved watching him on this season, and I was excited to see him play. Who else? Mike White. I liked him on his season, and I'm like, okay, he's like a good character.
He's a good villain.
Yeah, he's like a likable villain.
And
same with Rick Devens. I was like, because he became so close to winning on his season, and was just like, so I was excited to see him play. Not so much for any of the new cast, honestly, like Kyle and Camilla. But I don't like that they put
both of them on. Yeah,
we already saw this play out. Like
exactly. Same with Rizzo and Savannah. I was like, you guys, they both played a lot of days, and then you're putting this power duo back in together. Like, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I thought a lot of the new era picks were interesting.
You know what? As I'm talking it out, I'm like, I wonder if they put them in there because everyone else has pre-established bonds, and they were like, oh, we'll put these people in so that at least they have an instant ally, because everyone else has already like connected and like are genuine friends.
True.
Like, I'm only now just realizing if maybe that was part of it, because otherwise why would you get a pair from season 49 and 48? Like, that just feels weird.
Yeah, you're right. That probably is why they did that. because those are both such new seasons.
Yeah, I would have appreciated that transparency, but I know they have to pretend like previous alliances don't exist.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. But I wasn't like, oh, this is the most like iconic list of returning players ever.
No,
you know?
no, it was definitely season 40. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is like, there's some, like, obviously Suri is always fun to watch. And like, it's like, oh, okay, Ozzy's back again. I don't know. There wasn't anyone I was super excited for. But then it ended up, at least at the beginning, I was like, okay, let's give it a chance. And
Yeah.
anyways, we can get into everything, but let's first start with like why we love Survivor and how we fit into the Survivor world.
Oh, how we fit in? I don't.
Well, yeah, no, me neither. We'll get to that. Okay, why do you love Survivor? Let's start there.
Okay, well, I feel like my favorite part of the episodes of watching Survivor is always in between the challenge and tribal, or in between challenges. Like, I can like take or leave the challenges. I feel like the challenges themselves serve a purpose, but like I don't think they're entertaining to watch. Like, I definitely watch for that social gameplay and the social strategy. Like, that is what I look for. And the unraveling. I feel like that classic reality TV show drama of just like, oh, the spiral that's happening. So yeah, everything that happens back at camp and tribal. Like, I feel like camp builds up to tribal, but I feel like even tribal itself, I actually look most forward to like what's happening at camp that will influence tribal. Like, a lot of times the tribal itself is just boring. Like, the questions just feel like very much like the producers told Jeff exactly what was going on at camp, and Jeff is just asking them to recap it. Like, the questions themselves aren't very interesting. So I actually think what happens at camp is most interesting. And I like watching people idle hunt, even though I know that they only show us the edited versions, but I always think that those parts are interesting. And then just to go back to the challenges, like, if the challenges were different, there was more variety in the challenges that might be more interesting. But lately it's just like, especially post-merge, it's like, okay, you're gonna have to do something very physical and either very dirty, like going through what Dennis and I call the butthole, which is literally the mud with a long net, and the net is all twisted to look like a butthole, and then you go through the mud and you come out just covered in mud, and it's so dirty. And it's like, what is this? It's just to make everybody look like they're fighting hard. Like, they don't even have soap. It just feels cruel. So
just to humiliate them.
Truly. Yeah. It's just like, that's really gross. So there's always like some sort of physical thing, and then there's some sort of like coordination thing. Like, either they have to like throw a bag and knock stuff down, or they have to like use a pole to grab a key, or whatever. They have to like do something kind of coordination-y, and then it always ends with like a puzzle, either like a physical jigsaw puzzle or like a little roundy puzzle. It's like, it's just like so predictable. It's like, okay, so if you're not good at puzzles, you probably won't win. If you're not super physical, you won't get enough of a head start to catch up. So like, I get where it's like you need to be well rounded, but the challenges themselves are also just predictable. And I'll talk about ways that maybe it could be more interesting, but I miss when it was like different type of challenges.
I agree. Like, they just lean on the same kind of format of a challenge over and over again. And and they're also like so long and overcomplicated, and you're like, okay, like, I can't pay attention. It's like when someone's explaining like board game rules to you, and it's like super complicated, and you're like nodding along, but you're like, I have no idea what's going on. It's like that. It's like that. So no, I agree. And
or
it
it's the opposite
at the puzzle.
Yeah.
Anyways,
or it's
I do find I like the individual immunity ones better usually, because I do like watching those sometimes, especially because there's like, I mean, the stakes are always pretty high, but for individual immunity ones, it's like, if there's somebody who's like at the bottom and they're able to pull off an immunity win or something like that, like, that's always exciting. And I like the ones that are like equalizers. So like someone like Jonathan, who is just like a beast, isn't just gonna win every single one, and it balances out between like men and women too. So it's like evens the playing field. So it's like, sometimes smaller people are going to do better in a challenge, and sometimes at least it like
I get it, but it just doesn't, it's not entertaining to watch. I get that it serves the purpose, and I like the purpose that it serves. Like, I think getting immunity is worth it, and I think it impacts the game in a huge way, and like, it is needed. It would be so awful to not have that, kind of like traders. But yeah, but it's just like it serves the point, and then it's kind of like rice. Like it's like, yep, you have to eat this to feel full, and then you got to move on to like the other part.
Yeah, definitely. Remember when they used to like make them do like hand-to-hand combat? Like,
Oh,
they actually have to like
I
physically
hated that.
like wrestle and stuff like that. Or,
I saw that people wanted more of that, and I was like, y'all
I
are
know.
crazy. Like they're like swinging each other around. I'm like, how do you go back to camp and then just like eat rice together? Like, how are you not like, oh no,
Yeah, yeah.
not for me. I don't like the hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
I'm getting worked up with you just even talking about it.
She hates violence. Okay, I think I mean, I like it for the same reasons as you. Like, Survivor is the purest game of like reality TV, where it's like the perfect interplay of strategic, social, and physical. And like that's what, it's like outwit, last outplay, or whatever it is, What makes it so interesting well, it's hit or miss, because what makes each season, it's really the cast dynamics and how they like kind of create their own little society and their own rules of how the season is going to go every time. And it's that's what's really interesting to see how that plays out, I think. And especially like the stakes are pretty high because they are like isolated. They are exposed to the elements. They are not getting as much food as they normally do. Although in the new era where it's a shorter season, it kind of feels like they're eating like every single day with the rewards.
Oh, with the
rewards, I'm like every single, okay, you're getting a burger like every single day. I'm like, okay, you guys are fine. Like you're not starving.
I need a burger every day.
I know. It's like obviously they lose a lot of weight, but it's like, okay, you're getting fed.
That's so funny because I feel the complete opposite. I feel like they don't eat at all. Like no rice. I just feel like they're eating
no rice
coconuts.
Is brutal.
Yeah, like I'm just like, oh my god, like yeah, once you get to the merge, you have the options to eat more. But until then, and then like sometimes they don't even have flint. I'm like, oh my god, you can't even like cook a fish. Yeah. What you're just eating coconut? Like I would need to eat 20 pounds of coconuts in a day to not feel hungry, let alone
but then
full.
You gotta be using glasses like Christian does.
That's true.
And,
That's true.
This is Survivor. We gotta let's survive. Let's prove that you can
survive
out here. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, y'all, if you had some beans and rice for one meal a day, I think that's still incredibly brutal.
Yeah. And I also like how the show takes itself seriously, but in like a good way. Jeff loves the game and he like he takes it so seriously, and so it like helps you like get really into it, and
I feel like this season he put himself really out there. First of all, he rapped, which like didn't go over well for anybody. It was awful. But also when he joined in on the challenge, I was like, oh, I like that. I like that he had to do it. And he was like holding the crank of the water. And he's like, how are you guys doing this? This is so hard. I am not going to talk shit anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, I really liked that. I like that aspect. I think you should join a challenge every season.
Yeah, I liked that too. Okay, so if you were on Survivor, what would you be best at and what would you be worst at? And what would be your strategy to win?
Ooh, I would be very bad at the physical challenges. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm like a below average swimmer, very below average runner. I would be good at puzzles, but like I'd be good on puzzles with a lot of energy and sleep and food. I don't know how good at puzzles I would be having not slept and not eaten. Like I feel like taking all that into account, like on a good day, on a normal day for me, like I'd probably be good at like reading people and like aligning myself with good alliances and like talking about gameplay. Like I feel like I have like a good awareness of like what I would want to do, but I feel like you partner that with like not eating and not sleeping and like, oh, that would be so bad. And also the paranoia would be like crippling anxiety. I think just like the paranoia of like, is it me? And it could like never be me, but I would just constantly be paranoid that it was, which like we see so often. And all it takes is like one little white lie and it's like everybody's undoing. And I'm like, yeah, that would be me for sure. Honestly, I feel like the paranoia, not eating and not sleeping is like why I will never apply to be on Survivor. As soon as they're like, okay, you guys can have one sleeping bag to share between all of you and you can have some rice and beans every day, I'd be like, okay, I'm in. But like, I can't do it. What about you? What would
No,
you
me
be
neither.
best and worst at?
I think same. I think I'd be okay at the physical challenges.
Yeah, you would. You would.
Especially like if I went on the show, I think I would like prepare and
Yeah.
for it before I
Yeah.
went. So I think I would do okay that way. Like I don't think I'd be a detriment to my team. But strategically and socially, I would like to think I could do that outside of in a vacuum, but with all of the elements like you're saying, the lack of sleep and lack of
Yeah.
food, I don't know. I think it would make me like a crazy person.
But like I
And
feel like you're a super
especially
fan.
socially.
I feel like your strategy could come through. Like I feel like you would be very similar to Genevieve, where like you would be reading all of the right cues. And like you would see stuff and you'd be like, this is what or even like Rizzo actually did a really good job of this season, where we saw a lot of his brain where he's like, I think this is what I should do, and I think that I should do this because of XYZ, and I think Suri would want me to do this because of XYZ, but it's better for my game to do this, so I'm going to do that. Like I think you would be really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would be good at playing the middle and just being like a little bit underestimated, because I'm, at least generally when I first meet people, I'm like quieter and like more reserved. And
Yeah, I can see that.
so yeah, would just have like one-on-one conversations with people and stuff. So I think I could go under the radar for a bit doing that, and that
I
could
agree
help
with that.
me.
I think you can. Not me. I don't think I could play the middle.
But well, a lack of sleep and food, I don't know. My patience would be gone so quickly,
Yeah,
and I could
yeah.
see myself getting like annoyed with people, and then that would like hurt my social game,
I don't know though.
At a certain
Sometimes
point,
you're
and be
like,
like, I can't pretend. I would not be able to pretend that I like somebody. Like if I was there with Coach, I would
Oh,
just get up and
fuck.
walk away every time she was around. Be like, fucking cat. Okay, let's just get into the twists, because that was such a big part of this season, and I feel like there's a lot to talk about with
right.
each of the twists.
what's the first twist?
Okay, so like the biggest, I like most game-changing one, and probably like the most memorable one of the season, was like the $2 million
Yeah.
that was like based off of a coin flip that
Yeah.
was sponsored by Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
And honestly, despite my feelings about Mr. Beast, I didn't mind this of all the flips. Like I was like, okay, season 50, doubling the prize pot. I think that's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
already a super high, big prize pot compared to other shows. And like, yeah, why not like double
Yeah.
the stakes? I like that. And I thought that Devins was the perfect person to do it, because he's such
Yeah.
a chaos player. And so it was just, he made it fun to watch instead of it being like it's coin flip. Like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I liked how in that scene where he's like, okay, so for me, it's going to be, I have 50-50 odds, or I'm going to have to play my shot in the dark because I'm at the bottom, which is 1 in 6 odds. So like
Yeah.
50-50 is still better than that. So
What
that was
a
one of the
economist.
things that I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He did a good job of
How did you
explaining
feel
that.
about it?
I liked it. I remember when the trailer came out, like I don't know actually anything about Mr. Beast except that Dennis watches a lot of Mr. Beast, and not a lot, but he watches enough where I'm like, you should be watching none. So the fact that you are watching some, it's too much to me. But yeah, and he was telling me how Jeff was on Mr. Beast, and so there was like a crossover where Mr. Beast came on to Survivor. So I know nothing about him, but I guess it was like the same twist that they had on the Mr. Beast games that Dennis had already seen. So he actually didn't
okay.
even know, but he knew what it was. It was like slightly different, but like essentially coin flip, and it came down to like very similar thing. But yeah, I think it was done well, and I think the stakes of it was appropriate. You're the one who flips it, and you either go home. But I wish that there was like a little bit of personal. Like it's like you get 2 million for the whole group. Like okay, actually, we were theorizing the whole time before, being like, what do you think the Mr. Beast prize pot will be? Like, what do you think the twist will be? And Dennis had told me that like, oh, a lot of what Mr. Beast does is he'll be like 5,000 on the table for the first person to leave the game right now, and then someone takes it and leaves, and he goes 50,000 on the table for the next person to leave right now, and like the prize pot's like $10 million or something, and then the next person goes to 50K, and then it's okay, the next person to leave gets 100K to leave. So you're like waiting and waiting, but also, so it's just like, I thought it was going to be at the auction, he was going to say like, you can leave the game right now and get a guaranteed $50,000.
That would have been good.
I was curious if that would have happened. So, but that's like
Yeah.
a very straightforward type of twist. So I actually like what he did with the coin flip and the increasing odds and how it played into immunity and how like I actually liked all of that. The Billie Eilish idol, how did you feel about those?
So remind me how it worked again exactly, because like you said, it didn't ever actually happen the way it was supposed to. So it was kind of just like, because it didn't have a massive effect on the game. And I like when people like earn their idols rather than just being given them.
That's so fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no beware advantages this season, but yeah, the boomerang idol was very much like, okay, you found it, but you can't keep it. You have to give it to somebody else that's not on your tribe, so you can't communicate with them, and they won't know who sent it to them. And then if they keep it, it's like it's theirs. They keep it. They can use it, whatever. But if they go home with an idol in their pocket, then the idol comes back to you. So you can either give it to somebody, and Genevieve is the one who I think actually explained this best. You can either give it to somebody with the hope that you think they're going to get voted out next so that you get the idol and it comes back to you, or you give it to somebody on the other tribe as to form an alliance, so when you do meet up and you tribe swap or you come to the merge, then you can say, I gave you that idol, like I want to play with you, which I think is the approach that Christian took with Aubrey. So yeah, two different methods for sure.
Like it could have been really interesting, right? Like I liked that there was like some strategy involved, but because it didn't end up like, it never boomeranged back to anybody. No. So
I almost think it would be interesting,
just free idol.
Like free idol. Yeah. It's like if this boomerang doesn't get played within the next, or if the idol doesn't get played within the next 3 things, then like you lose a vote, or something else where it's like, okay, I need to also convince this person to play it. Like I feel like I need to convince people to vote him out. Like a little bit more urgency after seeing what we saw would have been interesting.
Plus it's like, because you had to give it to someone in another tribe, there was so little influence that you could do, like to get it to boomerang back to you.
Yeah.
So maybe they should have done it like closer to the merge or something. Yeah. So that there's more likely
that tribe swap happened kind
of
afterwards.
Right. Anyways, next twist, or like little thing they throw in, the blood moon. Bad.
Oh,
I did not like the blood moon.
That was so bad. Also, why is it called the blood moon? Like, he described what a blood moon was for what felt like 25 years. Like, okay, you guys have a clever name. Just make a blog post about it. I don't want to watch this on my team.
3 people out in a row was like way too much. Like
3 people out in a row, again, and they were 3 separate tribal councils, so it's like they didn't impact each other at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, it was putting so much on luck rather than strategy, which I don't like. Like, it's just, no matter what you did, your whole game up until that point doesn't matter anymore. It's like mute, because it's just the luck of the draw of what re-scramble you get put in. And if you're at the bottom of that, then like you're screwed, and there's kind of nothing you can do, I guess, if you're really clever. But I don't know. That just frustrates me when they do that.
It would be a little bit different if the tribes were chosen based on like a schoolyard pick and you didn't know that until after. But like just by drawing for rocks to put you in, like, that feels too lucky. Which also, by the way, I'd love to see the schoolyard picks. I feel like that influences so much of the game. No. And I would like to say, I would like to see those.
And it was the same thing with like, whatever, I forget what this one was called, but when Jonathan gets immunity and then he has the power to participate in 2 votes.
Oh, no, I liked that one.
Tribes.
I liked that one.
I didn't, because like once again, it was such a pivotal moment, and you're just giving one player so much power.
I liked it. If it wasn't Jonathan,
maybe it's because I don't like Jonathan.
Yeah,
that's true.
Guy.
Maybe it's just because I don't like Jonathan. Yeah. And because it ended up ruining Ozzy and Suri's game. So. You know.
It sure did. But especially Aussie. But I actually liked that twist, but I didn't like that it was Jonathan who won.
And then the worst twist of all was the fucking Jimmy Fallon one in the urn twist. I hated that.
Which one was that one again?
That was the one that got Christian out. So it was like he went on like an excursion thing or whatever, and he had to complete a puzzle. And if he didn't do it in time, then
I forgot.
The penalty was that he had to write down his own name at tribal, and he had to tell everybody else that he had to do that. So everyone knew he had to write his own. Yeah. So there was literally nothing he could do. Like, might as well just gone home right away, because like. Obviously, everyone's just gonna
is he knew that he wrote it on the raft, and then so that he doesn't have to write it in front of everybody, and he knows that it's already in there, and he just tells people he lost his vote. That would have at least been slightly better.
Give him a chance. And like, especially because it was Christian, it's like he got so much screen time before then. He was playing a pretty good game, and then it's like it was made irrelevant because of just like this random production decision.
I did forget about that.
That's just frustrating me.
I was like reading back, being like, what were even all the twists that even happened? And everyone was like, the Jimmy Fallon, that was the worst one. I'm like, I don't even remember what he did. And I didn't look into it anymore. And then, of course, it's the one with Christian, which actually, in hindsight, I remember reading, and it was like, Christian is like moderately good at puzzles. He's not a puzzle whiz, but he's like pretty good at puzzles. And it's like, if Christian couldn't get it done in the time frame, like they're like, this was like 5 weights or 6 weights for like the puzzle size that he was. Like, no production had set this up, so nobody was even gonna win that challenge, which like
they wanted that
chaos.
Twist to go through. I don't know, brutal. To me, like in general, I like twists. Like, I think the producers should introduce twists when the game has gotten stale, or like if one side or alliance is getting too much power too early and it's just going to be boring, then yes, shake it up. But I don't like when they give someone too much power. Like, take the power away, fine, but like don't just give somebody power. I don't know. Let the players play. I don't know. Don't do these returning seasons that have all of these iconic players if you're not gonna just let them play the game, you know?
Yeah.
That's
my
opinion on them.
It's the right opinion. Yeah, I agree. I think it's like, especially too, when it's like, okay, I don't know, just all-star seasons, the pace is so fast. It's like go, 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 go. And things pivot like so much faster than normal because people are like seeing the steps ahead and fixing it. Like the gameplay, there is more gameplay. So I'm like, just let it happen.
And this is kind of just like my thing with all reality TV right now. And I really felt it in season 50. Like I liked season 50. I thought it was an entertaining season overall.
It was much better than all of 41 to 49. So bad.
Yeah. But like the preview for 51, what it feels like they're doing, it's like they're focusing too much on the twists and having it be chaos and unexpected, and they're like leaning into this like, oh, attention economy thing, and we need to keep doing crazier and crazier things. And it's like,
oh, attention economy. I've never even heard of that phrase. Sorry to cut you off. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, the attention economy is like what's profitable now, or what has value now is people's attention, like keeping people's attention.
Right.
So I feel like the way that they're trying to do that is through like having these celebrity guests, like Billie Eilish and Mr. Beast. Like, I feel like they're trying to attract a younger audience.
Yes, 100%.
But to me, I'm like, you're on CBS. Like, you know why younger audiences aren't watching you? Because they don't watch network television.
Yeah.
So,
well, they did try. I don't know if you saw. They tried to do some promo for season 50 when they had influencers and social media personalities do Survivor for a day. They did like a challenge. I think they slept the night. And they did it one vote out, and Monet Exchange was on there from Drag Race. It's the only person, that I knew on there. But there were some other like famous people on there. So I think they are catching on that that's the way to do it. And I think it was just on YouTube. I can't remember where I watched it.
If you want a younger audience, like you're just gonna have to go to streaming, because that's where the younger audiences are. And
I see. I don't like. Yeah.
I just feel like it's disrespectful to the existing fan base that is so dedicated and like that you've cultivated over all this time. And you say that you're doing the season that's for the fans, but then what you're actually doing is, instead of catering to this existing fan base, and this is such like a nerd thing, like I feel like all Star Wars people and everything end up having this like grief with the franchises that they love, but it's like you're trying to find a new audience instead of like respecting the audience that you already have, that's like given their time to the show, you know? And like The Bachelor is bad for this too.
Yeah.
And Love Island was bad for this, because what they do, and this is, sorry, I'm like going on a huge rant right now.
You go for it. You go for it.
But I've just been like thinking about this all day, about the way all these shows are doing this. And Survivor, Dylan and I have always talked about this, especially in season 40, where it's like every season has started to feel kind of the same over and over again. And it's because they're not like casting unique people anymore, like real people. They're casting like for archetypes instead. Yeah, super fans and archetypes. And like every single season has like
The
I don't know, like yeah, or like a very like feminine,
the
flamboyant
lawyer.
gay guy, and
yeah.
like the hot chick, and like they're just, and it's like they could be the same person just slot in every season instead of like these iconic players from the past, like Suri, like Aubrey, like Ozzy, like Devon's,
Boston
like,
Rob.
They're like Rob, like they're like real people, and
Yeah.
obviously everyone fits into like an archetype. That's how we like understand things and put things in order and whatever, and like our brains like that. But you're doing it to like aesthetically too much, you know? It's like in Love Island USA season 6 was like a, you know, it was like dynamite of a season. I'm gonna bring it up every episode. But
I
it was
love
like
you.
it was like lightning in a bottle, right? And it was because that cast, just the dynamics between them, right? It just like it was
They had
just
good flow.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the chemistry between them was just right.
Yeah.
And then season 7, what they tried to do instead of just finding a new mix of people that had really good chemistry, they literally tried to like cut and paste just the aesthetics of like this person, like Huda looks like is another Middle Eastern woman. She'll be the new Leah, and then 2 like dark-skinned black girls, that'll be the new Serena and Janae, and like literally they just tried to cut and paste, and it's like, no, these are different people though. That doesn't mean they're gonna have the same dynamics between them.
No, it really was like, you know what's the easiest way to cast? How people look. I'm like, oh, whoa. We've gone way too far back. You missed the plot.
Yeah.
Are you looking at their videos, or are you just looking at the screenshot of their face? Like, let's
Literally, it's
roll it back.
Yeah, this is like where like there's the line between representation and stereotyping people, right? It, like,
yes, exactly.
representation's great, but then when you start going too far into it, now we're just like stereotyping, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like you're just not
Go off,
quite
Willow.
it. Anyways,
I don't even think that's an anyways. I think that's like, I think you should keep going. I think you should keep talking on this.
Because I also think like, okay, and so it becomes inauthentic, and that's not interesting to watch anymore. And I really think like in today's culture of social media, there seems to be like a shift to people craving more authenticity.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, that's why you like Taylor Frankie Paul, right? Like she's one example of that. And like if we wanted to watch scripted television, then like that's what we would watch. You know what I mean? Like we're here for the reality TV, and you're trying to like script it too much now. And I get that there needs to be some sort of narrative structure and production around it, but like you're doing too much.
Yeah, on that kind of thought, and I know that I've recently really respected Rizzo, which is really hard for me to swallow, but it's like his edit.
You mean RIZGOD?
RIZGOD, Rizgod, baby, let's go.
What? Pause for a second. When he's like sobbing in his interview, and it's like, I'm still RIZGOD.
I
iconic.
Also, clocked it as soon as that happened. I was like, the fact that he's literally has tears down his face and he's still spelling his nickname out loud is iconic. He is that queen.
Yeah.
So like I feel like his edit in season 49 was very much this surface level. He's a Gen Zer, he's a Gen Z, he's a young kid.
Yeah.
He's like way too young, like immature, like all those types of things. And then his edit that we got in season 50, who he's been probably the whole time. I don't think his personality shifted within 9 days of downtime between filming the seasons. He hasn't even watched himself back, which actually the cast have called back, being like, you're at a disadvantage because you don't know how people perceive you, and you don't know how the audience perceives you, and you don't know what your fellow castmates think of you. Like, you are at a disadvantage. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, I think you are, but like, anyways, they did like clock that. And then his edit in season 50, and I know I say this all the time, but he got such a good edit, and I was like, oh, like, this is the authentic him. In 49, we saw the edited, overproduced, they wanted a Gen Z, I don't know, annoying little white guy, and that's the box he filled. And then in season 50, they're like, we're gonna change his narrative into like being so much more than that. And I know that like the fandom also changed. Like they really liked the edit that Rizzo got in season 50. And if they can do that more from the beginning without having to give him a shit edit to a good edit, like that would be more interesting to watch as well. Yeah, because everybody who's on there is more than, they all have the potential to be shown with dimension. So
Yeah.
it comes down to producers. Like every person has a backstory and every person is more than like what the production team wants us to see. So yeah, I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah. Okay. My issue with Rizzo is like, I agree that he was more likable this season and all of that, and that we got to see more of him. The note that the rest of the cast had for him that I'm like, yeah, correct, is that you have to watch yourself back, is that he is only seeing through things through his experience. And so, and he hasn't watched it back yet and seen all of the other things that are happening. And so every single time a big move is made, cut to him in the moment being like, just completely taking credit for it, and you saw everything else that was going on, and you're like, that was not you. You were actually being used as a pawn in this, and you don't realize it. Like, but he did it over and over again. He's like, yeah, when we blindsided Suri, it was like, you didn't. She immediately, as soon as Tiff got immunity, she was like, oh, I'm going home. Like, that's not a blindside, my friend. Like, she knew what was happening. Because his big good skill, which I do respect, is like, he's a storyteller.
Yeah,
he's really good
I knew
at
if he got to tribal, I'm like, he hasn't played a really good game, but he can convince you that he has. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and he's good at doing that to the camera too, right?
Correct.
So he's playing up his role in things. I'm like, was that your move? I don't know. Anyways,
I agree with
just
that.
my
I agree with that.
I
won't take any Riz God slander on this podcast. I'm gonna start calling you Will God.
Hell yeah. I am WILGOD. Also, I guess as we're talking about Rizzo, we can talk about the fact that in the live finale, Jeff ruined it.
Yeah, let's not forget. You recap this because iconic.
Okay, so Rizzo makes it to the top 4, and in the top 4, they do fire making. So, like, there's 3 ways that you can get to the final 3, which is by winning immunity and then if you win immunity, you can bring someone with you. And then the remaining 2 people have to compete by making fire. And the person who makes it the fastest gets to be in the final. So Rizzo and Jonathan were competing against each other. So they show that they're about to go up. Then they cut back to the stage, like the sound stage, because they're doing a live finale. While this is airing. And Jeff brings Rizzo out and is basically like, and here's the final member of our jury before we see the results
that
of the
he
fire
was.
Challenge. So he,
oh my god.
Yeah.
And then Jeff goes, I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, because everybody's sitting there is like, we haven't heard that yet. But you know what? That wasn't Jeff's fault. Booing. That was production's fault as well.
Why did they bring Rizzo out? Like, and then he kind of like goes back and explains what happened. I'm like, yeah, guys, it was an error. That's fine. Like, this is why live TV doesn't exist. Is because like it's very easy for these to happen. But why would you bring Rizzo out before he got eliminated? Why would you do that? You should only bring him out after he got eliminated. That's why I was like, that's so random. So, and then Jeff was like, and he's our final cast of the jury. And then I think you hear Suri at one point go, oh, Jeff, they don't know that yet. So good, but also so bad. And then Dennis looks at me, he's like, someone's definitely getting fired. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think Jeff was pissed. Like, he played it off well, but they shouldn't have cut back to him. That was not his fault. I felt kind of bad for him. He played it off well though, like
as one has to do. And then it's like, you know what, one slip up in 50, or I guess it wasn't 50, but like 40 live finales, like that's not bad. That's actually, that was one of the most exciting parts of the whole finale, if I'm being so real with you.
Totally.
Maybe it was on purpose.
You know what I miss about the live finales, and I was hoping for it this year, was like in the early seasons when they would do that, it's like they finish the vote on the island or wherever they are.
And then Jeff drops off from a helicopter.
Yeah, and he's like riding through New York Harbor on a jet ski to get to the live finale. I was like, I want to see Extreme
Dennis said
sport
the
Jeff
same
come
thing.
back.
He said the same thing. He's like, do you think Jeff's gonna drop down? Because I think one time he actually dropped down from a helicopter.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you think that's gonna happen? I'm like, no, we've already seen him. Like every other time they don't show that they're already in the soundstage. Like it actually shows that happening. And he's like, oh right. He was extremely disappointed. And I was like,
I know.
You guys are so
Season
silly.
50, let's go big.
I'm just gonna go live on TikTok.
Okay, so you have this interesting thing about like the paradox of Survivor, which is you have to vote people out and then convince those people to vote you to win. Yeah. So the jury matters a lot, and jury management is this huge part of the game that a lot of people don't
Which was
consider.
Ozzy's downfall. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
season. Yep.
Or Jonathan's downfall.
No, Ozzy. Well, also
Jury
Jonathan's, but like Ozzy, because he tried to jury manage Aubrey, and Aubrey was like, "What the fuck? Fuck you!
Yeah.
We're voting you out." And then Ozzy didn't play his idol, and then he went home, and no one to blame.
You can't
but himself.
manage the jury before someone's actually gone. Like it's so
Correct.
rude to do that.
Correct.
First of all.
Correct. And like maybe if he wasn't a big threat, but like Ozzy, you've always been a big threat. You will always be a big threat, and you have always been a big threat. So like why?
Yeah.
Suri left him.
You literally
for
have an
15
idol.
minutes. Yeah, play it. Like, oh,
I know.
I can't talk about it anymore because I get just as riled up as he did. Also, his consolation prize of getting a T-shirt.
The T-shirt.
And he was just like, oh, thanks. And it was like, why didn't you play the idol, Ozzy? I'm like, this is this new guy's legacy. It's overshadowed anything else he's ever done with all of his immunities, and now it's just, why didn't you play the idol? I'm like, this is heartbreaking.
That is. I know, because I really liked Ozzy this season, because before in the past
played a
he's
great
been kind of like
game.
meh to me.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
yeah.
did. But it turns out
he was-
Suri played a great game, and Ozzy was there as well.
Yes, that's definitely what it was, because I before he got voted out, I was like, his awareness level is like, we've never seen a turnaround like this. And then Suri was gone, his awareness went out the window, and I was like, god damn it.
I would say that, so Jonathan was really, has been in his like post press tours, been blaming the fact that he lost on like a bitter jury. And I just don't think so.
It doesn't exist. I agree. It doesn't
No.
exist. You have
Bitter juries aren't a thing anymore.
Correct. Well, and even if it was, why are they bitter? Because
Yeah.
this is the game. It's not like the twist was, oh, and your jury's not voting for you, the fans are. Like, no, this has always been the case. And Dennis always tells me, this is my husband, he always tells me, like, there's no such thing as an undeserving winner, because part of the game is that the people who vote for you, it's your job to convince them. And if you're not convincing them through final tribal council, but also how you played the game, then you don't deserve to win. And that's exactly how Jonathan didn't win. It is 100% his fault. He fucked up when he realized his last 5 had Aubrey and Tiff, and if either of them sat next to them, they would win. He knew that, and he's like not accepting any personal responsibility. He's not saying how he messed up at all. He's just deflecting. He's blaming a woman. He's blaming the other woman. Like, it's gross.
Yeah.
F this guy.
I know.
Like, you shouldn't have
really
won, and you
like
didn't.
him.
No.
I know. Honestly, the jury was really interesting this season. Like,
oh, so interesting.
It was so.
Let's just
I've
talk
never
about
seen
that.
a jury like this.
Yeah.
It was such a divided jury, and like,
why don't you tell us
First of all,
who were the teams? Because it's very obvious.
it's like Team Jonathan and Team Aubrey, basically.
And who's on Team Jonathan?
Yeah, so Chrissy, Stephanie, and Coach, and they are like trying to like rally votes for him. Like, it was so weird because their role, you're supposed to like ask questions to the people who are on the final tribal so they can state their case, but they were just like, it was uncomfortable to watch. Honestly, I was like, Stephanie.
Oh,
This is embarrassing. You're a grown woman. Like, the way you're fawning over this man. Oh my God. Like,
yeah. And then at one point, was it Suri? She goes, "Do you have a question?" Like, Stephanie's just like, he played the best game. It was Tiff. He played the best game. He played the this. He played the bad. Like, oh my gosh, he's inspiring. Da 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 da. Didn't ask a question. And Tiff, is that a question? And I'm like, fucking snaps for you.
And
oh my God.
the like, there's the old school Survivor where you help out at camp and you're an honorable person. It's like, I roll, first of all, that hasn't even been how Survivor's been played since like season 6. Like no one cares about camp life anymore. Like, you know, it's not what we're watching for. Like, oh my God, being an
and you don't vote
player,
people out. Like they used to vote people out, be like, this person does not pull in their weight around at camp. They're useless. Everyone has to work harder for them. Let's get them out. But now that's almost keeps you around because it's like, we'll just vote them out next time.
Exactly.
They're just an easy person. Let's vote out the biggest threat now. But oh God. And then I think at one point, then Suri then starts defending Aubrey and was like, well, actually, Aubrey played the best blend of new era, old era, where it was, and then she starts defending Aubrey's game. And I'm like, and then I had just so many times not
they were speaking for the tribal council. It was so weird.
And they were also saying, they were like, you guys are doing a great job. Like they said that so many times. They're like, you guys are doing a good job. You guys are doing a good job. Yeah.
It seemed very high pressure.
Like, I don't like Joe. I was voting for him when I watched his season, and now the edit he got this season, I'm like, don't like this guy either. Also, he's in that alliance.
I didn't like his season. The first season either,
and when Suri calls him out, it was basically like, we were babysitting you, Joe, for like every tribal. I was like, go off, queen. That's hilarious. But yeah,
she's getting heat for that. Everyone was like, that was
really?
too mean. I was like, this is too mean. Do you remember the tribal where the girl made what's her face take out her fake teeth in front of Are you serious? Like it used to be so mean. They used to. I'll give you my vote if you promise me to use the money to remove your vocal cords and like.
Oh yeah,
like the juries used to be so mean. You know the one where. Oh, you have to watch it.
I haven't seen every season.
It is shocking where she's like, she says something where it's like, you embarrassed me and I helped you fight, because she like loses her teeth at one point and this girl like really helps her in this vulnerable moment. And she's like, and you got me out and like we had this like vulnerable bond. So if you want my vote, you need to be vulnerable for me and you need to take out your teeth and smile at the camera without your teeth in. And she does. And it's like, oh my God.
I have not seen that. I think I've only seen
that. Man, I forget
16.
what season that is. But
oh my God, that's awful. That's so awful and so good. Jesus.
So anyways, I don't think Suri was that mean.
No. And also she was just like, heads up, Joe. Like, we're gonna tell you this on camera now, or we're gonna tell you as soon as the camera's cut, like after you've had some food in your belly. Like you're gonna find out. But I think it was Devon's asked this question. He asked it and then Coach answered first, and then Aubrey answered, and then people start kind of like asking Aubrey more questions, and then Devon says like, Joe, we're gonna come to you, but like Aubrey, let's get back to this. And then I mean, Joe, whenever he got to the end, was always gonna be a 0 vote finalist. Like he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything.
He was a goat.
100% from the beginning. And always was. But anyways, I don't even remember where I was going with that. They were just trying to like placate him, and they were like, you're doing good, sweetie. You're doing really good.
Honestly, that I liked that. I liked that they were doing that. They were like, they didn't want him to feel like shit, like sitting up there. You know, they're like, no, we are considering you too. Like you should have a chance. Because it seemed like everyone was like decided on who they're going to vote for already. And I think he really wanted to be like clear to Joe, like, no, I want to give you a chance to argue your case too. Like this isn't just like for nothing that you're.
And we're also only seeing what the camera's showing us. Like they could have asked 100 more follow-up questions to just Jonathan, just Aubrey to kind of. But it's also like, let's talk about, because you said specifically the jury, and I noticed it was so tense, and it was very much like they called themselves the Zoom Alliance. So like Coach, Chrissy, Stephanie, Joe, and Jonathan were like part of the Zoom Alliance. So it was like Zoom Alliance versus everybody else, and like they were just like fighting each other. Actually, it was like once the game part had ended, then the jury was just, they were just letting it out. They weren't trying to play niceties. They weren't trying to like, put on a specific persona to try to appease the people that they could still be voting for them. They were like, masks off, like, let's go to war. And I was like so here for it. But it's also so interesting because it's such a reflection too, I think, of like the bigger picture, which is when I have something to lose, I have to put up my professional face or my customer service face or whatever it is. Like, I have to do my job and I have to act a certain way. And then when I have nothing to lose, like, I'm going to tell you how I really feel, and this is where we go. And it was so interesting to watch that come through, and whose voices were more highlighted than others. Because I don't think, like, Christian barely talked in Tribal. Dee barely talked, and she's like,
I know,
feisty, fiery. They showed barely any of her talking. So yeah, was super interesting. What are your other thoughts with that final Tribal?
Yeah, like we kind of touched on this a little bit, but like the ability to be able to state your case, like, and really own what you did, and also make it clear that you understand like why and how you got there is like such an important, like, that it was intentional and not just like you just lucked out or like benefited off of someone else's move or whatever. Where Jonathan doesn't respect playing the middle as a good strategy, where because Ozzy at one point during the jury is like, Aubrey is like an exemplary player of playing the middle, like she did like a perfect job of doing it, and Jonathan's like, can you explain that more? It's like, what do you mean? That's literally, you don't understand that being in the middle is the most powerful position. Like, if you can set yourself up, you're the swing vote every single time. That means you are deciding who's going home. Like,
and that's why people try to cut the people in the middle, because they are the most powerful people.
And Jonathan was too. And he doesn't understand that because his ego is too big, that he could never play the middle like that, because he has to be controlling the vote. Like, he needs to be like obvious, like at the front of controlling it. Side note, apparently Boston Rob was like mentoring him.
He said it in his Tribal. Boston Rob, I love you so much. Why would you do that? But yeah, no, because at one point, and Aubrey is like saying, she's like, I talked to Sandra and she told me how to play this way, and I talked to Michelle and she told me how to play this way, and I talked to, like, she mentioned a couple other winners, mostly women, but there was one guy, and I was just like, oh, like I love hearing that. I love hearing that she like saw, like, you know, quote unquote Survivor professionals' opinions, and like obviously they've understood her gameplay. They understand the game. They can like give her advice, which obviously helped her and it worked. And then Jonathan said the same thing. He mentioned it in Tribal where he said like, oh, Boston Rob told me XYZ, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, Boston Rob, I cannot consolidate these two facts. What is happening?
And it's just like, sorry, Jonathan, but you're not Boston Rob. And you're trying to play a Boston Rob game, and it's like, you don't have the charisma of Boston Rob.
There's only one BR, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then this came out afterwards too, in like post press, was that like why Tiffany was so pissed at when she got voted out at Final Five, at Jonathan specifically, was that like in her last conversation
about
with him,
the way that Jonathan won immunity and basically forced Tiff out, because when he won that immunity, I audibly went, ugh, this is gross. His
celebrating when he won. I know, and he went
doing the
I'm sorry, but who's yes. Literally when it happened, I'm like, who celebrates by automatically going into the worm? Like, that's your first reaction, is like, yes, the worm must flow through me.
Yeah, just the way he like was, and like, yeah, it was tight, but like, he's this huge white man. And like Tiff's this like black woman, younger black woman. Well, I don't even know if they're younger. I thought Jonathan was in his 40s and he's our age. He was 33 at the time of filming. What? Yeah, and just like his hyper aggression and like toxicity of his celebrating. And like immediately I was like trying to cut him some slack, being like, oh, this is like a high stress moment. But no, I've never seen anyone else react that way. And arguably they're all the same. Like, people who think they're on the bottom, like when Aubrey, she just broke down and started crying, and like, not saying that that's what Jonathan should have done, but like, he just completely exploded. And yeah, and Tiff was like right there just being like, what the fuck? And it felt personal, which it did not feel like it was like celebratory for him. It felt personal to her.
There was no way that he wanted, well, because his first season he lost to Marianne, a black woman as well.
And Dennis reminded me of this because his brain remembers everything. And he's like, do you remember at one point he says to the camera, he goes, I'm so mad at Marianne right now and I just want to explode, but I can't because I know the optics. I know I'm a big white woman and she's a small black woman and I can't react like that. And I was like, oh, wow, he's socially aware. That isn't appropriate. But now it's fine with Tiff. And it's like, oh, because Marianne was more passive and Tiff's more outspoken. Like, is that that's why you feel it's okay.
And I don't know if you remember this from his season, but there's a tribal council where, and this is like season 42, so it's like right after like 2020 BLM stuff. And there's a tribal council where it's like him and two black women and then I think another white woman that are going, and they look at the jury, and the three first people who are voted out are black people. And the plan was to vote out a black person, but Marianne is like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't have it be like 3 or 4 in a row on the jury, and all the people who get voted out first are people of color. Like, I can't do that. And and then Jonathan's like pushing back against it, being like, are you calling me racist? Sounds like making it about him. And they're like, okay, you're just not getting it. Anyways, so that's the type of person that Jonathan is.
Do you know, was there anything online where people were reacting to that of Tiff?
The thing that like came out after, again, why she was so mad, like the night that she got voted out, which we didn't see, but I guess in her conversation, did you see this? I guess in her conversation with Jonathan, she was like, it doesn't make sense. You're like, your reasoning for voting me out, because like you're saying it's because I've won so many immunity challenges and you won't be able to beat me. But Joe's won the same number as me, so make it make sense. And he was basically just like, well, you're a girl, so it's different. So it's just like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about that. So
no, and like I think this is it, in the finale, Jeff calls her out, and it's like, oh well, Tiff, is it because you're not in an alliance with Jonathan? And it's like, yeah, Jeff. And why do you think she's not in an alliance with Jonathan? Why do you think Jonathan's alliance is predominantly white people, except for Joe? But Joe is like, I guess, super conservative. Well, Chrissy and Stephanie.
Well, that's true. But mostly men. Anyways, he doesn't win and Aubrey does win. And her winning, I think, is just like such an interesting example of like kind of what I want to talk about more broadly about this season.
Okay.
In addition to, and kind of what we've already talked about a little bit when we're talking about archetypes and stuff. Something actually in the final tribal really stuck out to me was Christian's last question, which was basically like, Survivor is really about like your story. Like, what is your story? What's the story of you winning? And I'm like, yeah, that is what it's about. And they talked a lot about perception too.
Yes.
And it's, there's the perception that's shaped for the audience by the edit and production, but there's also the perception that the other players have of you as you're playing and like they have of your game. Yeah. So I don't know. I just think that whole part of it is interesting, and especially with Aubrey as the winner, because to me at least, like I know you're a big Aubrey fan, and I like Aubrey, but she definitely didn't get like a winner's edit, I would say, in this season. Like she's not even in the first half of the season.
I didn't think so either, but then I remember, because like we've talked about this before, where like you watch an episode and then you watch the videos breaking down the episode. And I've got to start, maybe I just got to like stop watching them or stop reading the comments, but I've got like so many videos and comments I saw where like Aubrey's getting a winner's edit. So that kind of planted the seed where I'm like, maybe Aubrey wins, but at no point from my own version of what I was watching did I think she was getting a winner's edit. I'm like, go home every episode. Like, she's getting
I didn't see her getting a winner's edit at all.
No.
Maybe in the second half of the season, like maybe post-merge, she starts getting more talking heads and stuff, but I don't know. I think those people were probably already spoiled, and so they were just spoiling it.
Putting it out there.
Kind of. They already knew. In the end, I was satisfied with it because I was just like, I don't know if I don't want any of these other people to win. But Tipson is another example of someone who was like kind of cut from was not in the show that much. Especially in the first half. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about this celebrity cameo, but when they had Zach Brown come on and they gave him 40 minutes of screen time.
Should we even give him any more time? Like,
I know. Just as this example where he got more time in the show than Tiff had all season at that point. And it was like episode 5. So she was like really, really cut out for some reason.
She goes till the finale and they were like, we're going to give her 2 confessionals and 5 episodes. And it's like, what? And then it's not like she's boring. Like, she has funny things to say and she's interesting. So make it make sense. Way less coach. We saw way too much coach. Throw in a couple Tiffany's. Like, what the hell?
I wonder if it's because they know that the winner's edit is like a thing that people look into. So now they're trying to like do the opposite of that. So they try and hide the winner in the first half of the season and not give them much screen time so that it doesn't give it away or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
Wrong.
Because it really seemed to me like Christian was going to win in the first half of the season. Like he was getting
Devins.
so much screen time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen people talking online about like Survivor women's edits versus men's edits? And like when a woman wins versus when a man wins?
Yes, I did, but I don't know as much. I feel like I remember them saying when a man wins, the edit is always, this is why the man won. And then when the woman wins, it's always, this is why the man lost. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the story is like how the man lost to a woman instead of how she won. Like that's
Do you want to explain it more? Because I saw it and was like, huh. And then immediately moved on because I wasn't comfy.
Yeah. You know what? Like people were talking about that a lot this season. And I was like, to be honest, that's not something I ever have noticed. So yeah. I don't know, but maybe that's just my own like internalized misogyny or whatever. Like, I don't know. They were giving all these examples. It's like the biggest example is like season 2 where Colby loses to Tina, I think her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely was like people voted for Tina because they didn't want Colby to win. Basically, it wasn't because Tina won the game, you know what I mean? And so that's like the earliest example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they give a bunch of more examples of that and I'm like, I don't know about that. Like I don't think that that's always true. Like maybe that is sometimes true, but
I'm so bad at seeing the edit. You're so good at it. I'm always like, I just blindly believe. I'm getting better now that we like dissect and talk more, but I'm a sheep. You're showing me and I'm just consuming blindly and I'm like, oh my god.
Okay, so people are mad about how women were edited on this season. Like Tiff was disappeared from the first half and stuff. And like Angelina, when she got voted out, she said like, I think they pay a lot of lip service to diversity and inclusion and to empowering voices in women. And I think they're doing a really poor job this season so far of displaying female stories. And then Chrissy also said the women have been erased from the season.
Bold for Chrissy.
Even Chrissy said that. So
yeah, I agree.
That probably is true.
Crazy for them to be talking negatively about Survivor because those are two people who I wouldn't expect to talk negatively about Survivor.
Yeah. I would say, like, obviously, historically, Survivor, like, all reality TV shows of the early 2000s, like, have done a poor job of representing marginalized groups. But actually, it's been a lot better, especially in recent seasons, than shows like The Bachelor and stuff.
You remember one of those seasons, I think it was season 9, where it was whites versus blacks versus others?
Yeah, Survivor Race Wars. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, that was brutal. It was brutal.
Awful. So bad. And then they also had men versus women.
Yeah. No.
Also.
And they have had, like, they've done a lot of, like, class ones.
Blue
too,
collar,
like
white collar, no collar.
Yeah. That's been icky.
That's not the diversity that we're looking for.
But I think there have been a lot of women who have won. There's been a lot of people of color who've won too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And at least, especially season 40 and on, like, I would say those seasons are quite diverse.
Yeah, I think they made an active effort because of the timing of BLM, where they really, really pushed it with their casting, which is for the better. But I feel like they pushed it with the way that their cast looks. But again, kind of what you were talking earlier, it's like they're also just putting people into different stereotypes and archetypes where it's like, okay, we need to now go even one step beyond that and get back to interesting stories and not just fitting people into the boxes of what currently exists.
I wonder if now, because like CBS is owned by a Trump supporter, and now that like in the state they are at in the States, in the state of media in the States, in the state of politics in the States, and how things have kind of swung to the right and the media is all swinging to the right.
Yeah.
I wonder if now they're kind of like going back on like their diversity things that they had.
I would not be surprised at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's why this season, like, they're kind of calling it out a bit more.
They were really pushing Jonathan, like, hard on everything. And in the end, he just didn't win, which, like, again, is the right call. But, yeah, that would be really disappointing. And honestly, I feel like I am, like, one bad season away from boycotting Survivor. I feel like season 40, good. season 41 to 49 had to give us extra people to get to 50, but like week after week I was like, this is not entertaining anymore, but I do feel like I'm
No,
committed.
it's boring.
All it's gonna take is like one bad season and I'm ready to pull the plug. I'm like, I'm just not wanting to commit to this. I'm gonna go all in on other shows. So if they do go less diverse, which would be a shame because I like what the game was and not what it currently is. Do you like where it's at right now? How would you make it better?
Like I was saying earlier, I don't like the overproduction and the gimmicks and the leaning into, archetype and the moving away from like the purity of the game, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think I would make it better by like stripping all of that away, you know, and just keeping the pieces that made us all interested in the first place, right? Like I said at the beginning, where it is like this pure game of reality TV, like the social, strategic, and physical, and like really just like seeing that play out and seeing these social dynamics play out, and this again go back to like the social experiment of it all.
Yeah, for me, like, no, I don't like the way that it's being played right now. Like, just like you said, I think it's boring. Like, I think they need way more all-star seasons because it also is like a shortcut for the viewer. Like, it's like, oh, I don't need to relearn a new cast. I can go in with the cast that you've previously given me and we can just actually watch the game. Like, literally what you're already saying, like watch the gameplay, and we don't need to spend as much time learning who these people are, which is probably for the best but then it's like, oh, like I don't know, I really liked Rizzo. I didn't like him before, but then this season what they gave me,
fresh
I
blood
really
is
liked.
Good sometimes. Like, sometimes you need new people to keep it interesting, but
like not every season can be an all-star season, but they definitely need to be more than once every 10. Like that was really hard. But I think having like, I know you mentioned themes. They didn't have any themes from 41 to 49, and I think they need to bring those back, but give more interesting themes. I'd actually love to see another heroes versus villains, even though they don't cast villains anymore, but there are villains. So
they need to cast villains again. Or like villains, you know, in
quote
quotes,
unquote
like,
villains.
Villains are fun. A good villain is fun. Not someone who's like, again, a literal criminal or doing
Tom Sandoval
sexual
type
harassment.
villains.
Yeah, but someone fun. The villains authentically insert the chaos that they're trying to insert through these like big, stupid, forced production things. You know?
Yes. Agreed. Because I know they've gone on record and say like we're not gonna cast villains anymore, and I was like, why'd you do that? But I know there's like some talks about like, oh, a blood versus water, which is like people come in with a family member. I would
Survivor is getting to be old enough now that you could almost have like a season that's like next generation. So it's like,
oh my
Boston
God,
Rob and his daughter or something. You know what I mean? That could be cool.
Oh, that would be so interesting. Or you could be a young person and bring your mom, like something like that. That'd be cool.
By the way, I had this moment of delusion when they first were showing the season 51 preview, and it's like eggs, like cracked eggs or something like that, or cracked earth or something. And at first I thought that they were like pregnant bellies. And I was like, oh my God, they're doing a pregnant season. It's all pregnant women.
No one eats. No one gets any RMT. Fuck, that's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's
they should
no
do
way
more
in
fun
hell.
ones like that. Like I think I've seen one that's like all lawyers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
All relatives
like
of Jeff. I actually, I would actually like to see like a traders cast, like a B-list celebrity playing Survivor. I think that would be cool. Reality stars playing Survivor. Just one season. Doesn't need to be a lot, but like I think like Mike White, all anyone talks about White Lotus, White Lotus, White Lotus, White Lotus, ooh, White Lotus, White Lotus. And it's like, yeah, we're interested. He's famous. We want to know more. It's like I think that would be cool. And then like I think just for fun, they should do a Boston Rob and his lookalike season. Just for me, please.
That would be really funny. I think they can bring back his giant fucking rock head.
The idols. What's it called? Island of the Idols or something? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That was so ridiculous.
More. Other small things. Get rid of the shot in the dark. That thing's lame.
Yeah.
Boring. Move out of Fiji. I know they own the island, but like it's boring because everything looks the same. Because it's the same plot of land and everything's the same. And then I actually think for like some new challenges, they should do more of like the trivia type challenges. And like, so it's like
Yeah.
people who are really good at social bonds, like Suri, would like slay a challenge like that because they've had it before, and
Yeah.
I liked those types of ones. Or where it's like personal shots still, so it's like, okay, you have to like fling a slingshot to hit a disc, and once all of and your disc is like to each person's names written on it, and once that person loses all 5 discs, like they're out. And I'm like, ooh, that's like still personal, but not, I don't know, it's just like it's a little bit personal, but it's not sumo wrestling each other in the water.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. What about bringing back I actually don't want them to do this, but what do you think about them bringing back like eating the disgusting food challenges where they had to
Oh,
eat
some
like
Fear Factor
a
Joe
dead
Rogan
baby
style.
bird? Yeah. Do you remember that? It's like it's like the egg, but the bird is like
Wait, what?
kind
That's
of
real? No, I
half.
thought you were lying.
It's disgusting, and I'm
Ew.
sorry if it's a cultural thing and it's like a delicacy or whatever. It's so gross. It's so gross to watch them eat. Because like I don't like
I could
eggs.
not.
I think they're gross in general, and then to have like this like formed baby bird that's like in it,
Yeah.
and they have to eat the whole like the beak and oh, it's so gross.
I mean, also,
It's
like,
so
Survivor's putting
gross.
it out there, being like, it's a cultural delicacy, knowing full well people are going to vomit when they eat this. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I was reading through Reddit being like, what do the people say? Do they have any interesting ideas of how to make Survivor better? And I found this one comment thread, and person 1 says, first person out is executed. Person 2 said, instead of having their torch snuffed, they get punched straight in the face by Jeff. And then person 1 again says, mark my words, viewership would skyrocket. So maybe that's all they need. Maybe they just need physical violence from Jeff.
More violence, more violence. Yeah. Let's turn this into the Hunger Games. Mr. Beast will take it over.
Executed. Oh, man. But yeah, overall thoughts on the season. It did reignite my spark and interest in it. It was definitely better than like any seasons 49 to 49 for the last few years, but so much room production wise to go, and like the way that we saw people wise as well. Like,
Yeah.
the cast was good, not perfect, but the cast was good, and the interactions were good. I feel like every episode ended and I was like immediately texting you some thoughts, because every episode had something interesting happen, not because
Yeah.
of the triple blood moon or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. When Dylan and I did like our big, huge Survivor binge, and we would just like finish the season and then start the next one. And no matter what, whenever I'm starting a new season, like if it's new players, I always hate everybody to start with, because I'm like, these aren't the people that this is not the same cast. Who are these people? I don't know them. But then you just have to give it a chance and it gets good eventually, you know,
This is
like
true.
once
This
you
is true.
know them a bit better.
So,
Yeah.
Willow, I think that's a sign that you need to let go of Love Island season 6 and you need to surrender and move on.
Okay, of all 50 seasons, what has been your favorite season?
Ooh. Well, 40, but I'm not going to count that. But 40 was like definitely one of my favorites. I actually think it's the first season that I ever watched, which maybe there's like a sentimentality to that. But it was
Yeah.
I think it was blue collar, white collar, no collar. I think that's the first
Okay.
season that I watched. I think that's season 30. It's either 30 or 31. It is just like a really good season, even though towards the end it's like all the blue collars and they run it and I didn't like the winner. But I remember watching, like, I remember this was like peak pandemic and we were trying to find something else to watch. And Dennis is like, oh yeah, like my family used to watch Survivor. And I was like, I've never watched Survivor. He's like, you've never watched Survivor? Like, where can we stream it? And we downloaded Paramount Plus and we watched it at like one episode in. And I was hooked. Like that first episode, I didn't know anything. I was like, how do they know where the idols are hidden? How do they know about this? How do they, like, they just like, it was like coming into the middle of something that had already been so established. And as a new viewer, I was like, I don't even know what's happening. Like they're speaking a language I don't even know because
Yeah.
I'm not aware of what's going on. And then just watching, like the journey and then how they vote people out and the reactions. And I remember being like, I need to watch another one right now. My stomach already hurts from like how excited I was. And that was just like a very spontaneous thing of how I started watching it and like, really got hooked. And like, because I know that it could be so good and I could be so hooked, I think that's why it's so frustrating seeing where we're at now, where I'm just like, this isn't an exciting game to watch as much.
It's hard to remember all of the seasons because there's lots of them. There's lots of bad ones, there's lots of good ones, and that are good for different reasons. I think I like I think it's 37, David versus Goliath.
That's a good one too. Yeah. That's where we get Christian and
really
Mike
good
White
cast.
and Angelina.
It's a fun season. So that's up there, one of my favorites besides like 40 as well. Another top season for me is season 7, which I think it's Palau or whatever, but that's Sandra's first season, I believe.
With
and
Rupert,
to me,
right?
With Rupert, yes. And to me, that is the season where Survivor starts getting actually good. Because the first seasons are a hard watch. I don't know. People keep saying, like, go back to the first 10 seasons. I'm like,
Johnny Fairplay?
Because, yeah.
Yes.
Season 2. Yeah, that's a really good season. That I think that's like the first like good season of Survivor.
Yeah, I agree.
In
that's
my
a good
opinion.
one.
Yeah. Before that, it's all like just blatant like racism, sexism, and then people
homophobia,
not doing strategic play. Like in the very first season of Survivor, the only person who plays strategically is Richard, and he wins, and he's the villain for doing that. And other people are literally just voting alphabetically, like going each other. It's like, wow, this is rough. It's a game for $1 million. Oh, what? So someone with a Z last name is gonna win just by default? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Richard Hatch, he was very strategic, but he also, he did a lot of things that I'm like, this is super problematic. This is very bad. Yeah. This is really bad to watch back, not having watched it in real time. And also, I'm like, this is still a reflection of society and where we were at. So it is just really, it all comes back. It all comes back.
Death taxes in Survivor. Let's go for 50 more years.
Who's going to host next? That would be the question.
Jeff will never die. He's immortal. Like, he's feeding off the souls of every torch that he snuffs. He gets a little stronger. Yeah.
That's It's Called Reality.
The discourse for people who give a shit.
Find us at It's Called Reality on Instagram and TikTok, and go to whatcanido.earth to get all of our episodes. Please hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
And tell your group chat. That's how we grow.